Shalom, 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 man. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shah, Barakadah, Shabbat Shalom. Here's your brother Eliezer here with another Bring It Out TV, man. I hope all is well with the family out there. And yeah, we got another video today, man. And it's a really very controversy topic amongst so-called black people, man. Is the black man responsible for the mannerism of the so-called black woman, right? They call it the masculinity of the black woman. Dr. Umar Johnson had a sit down with a couple of brothers a couple of months ago. Now it's like viral on YouTube about, you know, he was disrespecting the black woman. And so some black men took it offensive. And so we always do things from a biblical perspective, right? Because sometimes we see the problem, but it's hard for people to come to a solution if we don't understand what was left behind, the records that was left behind for us to get out of our dilemma, if you will. And so who responsible? Is the black man responsible for the masculinity of the black woman, and so I have my thoughts on that, right? I was raised by my mom. Well, actually, I was raised by both parents, but they, at a period in my life, they got a divorce, and then I was raised by my mom primarily. And most black men in America is raised by their mom, right? And most black women are raised by their mom. It's a domino effect, and so we're gonna talk about it, right? Because it's two sides to this story, right? We got the so-called black man and be sometimes acting in such a way that it seems like he be wanting a mother figure, right? Then we also have the black woman who sometimes when she get a so-called black strong man, that she don't know how to handle it, right? She don't know how to handle it, right? And so I used to sometimes ask myself, do our sisters love men to mistreat them? Because if you were a so-called dog, right? Women sometimes seems to respect that. And then if you sometimes, you know, you know, be a good guy, and the saying is good guys finish last, right? And so we got to understand where this problem comes from, right? In order to understand the problem, we got to have a strong solution. All right, we got to have a strong solution. So before I get into the videos, um, I'm shalom, sister Latasha, shalom, baby. That's my wife. And so we gonna go into the scripts like I always do, man. Let me put up the Bible, Shalaki family. Let me get some things organized quick, real quick. Let me get some things organized, real quick. Get some things organized. Yeah, man. I hope y'all been having a good week, man. Shalom, brother Mike. How you doing, brother?
Hey, shalom, Mike.
How you
How's it
doing
going?
today? Man,
I'm
all
all right.
praises, man. All
Con.
praises, man. None came. I know. I've been kind of dealing with the sciatica, man. And this stuff been kicking my butt, brother.
Mm.
I kind of been laying low, man, trying to get my my leg back in good and tip top shape, man, so I could be running marathons like you be out there doing, man. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So
Yeah, man.
how was your day, brother?
Hey, man. No them bites the dust.
Yeah, man.
All praise for the Shabbat. You know,
God, boy, I'm
well
telling you,
needed.
hey, boy, hey, boy, I'm telling you, boy, you said a mouthful, man. I remember when I first came into this truth, shalom, Sister Shalisha. When I first came into this truth, man, I was like, man, what I supposed to do? I don't know what I supposed to do on the Shabbat. You know what I mean? What do I do with my hands like Ricky Bobby? You know what I mean? But the longer and the more and more the Most High give me grace, man, to keep understanding His word and keep living by His laws and commandments in the faith of Christ. I realized that I need the Shabbat. I look for it in the worst way, brother.
That's right.
I be needing that Shabbat, man. I need that day of rest. I need it, man. So all praises and glory,
Hey,
honor, glory to the
Salaki,
Most High, man. Go ahead.
you know how people always talking about how tired they are, man, and won't sit down.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
I
Yeah, man. I even heard a brother say, man, he was in the hospital, man. Yeah, went the hospital for like for dehydration or something, man. I'm like, man, somebody asked me, how you doing, man? He said, man, the best rest I had in years.
mm,
The best rest I had in years, man. You know what I mean? And so sometimes the Most High sit us down, man. You
that's
know what I
right.
mean? He'll break us down till we have to rest, man. So instead of the Most High have to make me do it, man, I just volunteer to do it according to His will, brother. You know what I
Uh,
mean? And so we going into, man. I don't know if you seen this video. Shalom, brother Dion.
Shalom, Mark.
hey,
Uh,
shalom, shalom, brother.
Shalom, Mark.
And how you doing today, brother?
Hey, man, it was a long day. Captivity is over. I got Monday off. All praises to the Most High God.
All praises. Is Monday a holiday?
Con.
What holiday is it?
I guess it's I discovered America Day. I don't know. One of them. Columbus Day. I think it's, I don't know. Shoot. It's a bank holiday. That's all I care about.
Hey, I'm not being facetious, man. I'm just saying, when you don't keep these holidays, man, you really lose count on 'em, brother. I'm telling
Con.
you,
Con.
you lose count on 'em, man. So I'm not being facetious, man. But for those who celebrate the holidays, man, have at it, man. But I'm just saying, I really didn't know.
It's a
What?
day off to me, brother.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. Hey, man, use it, brother. I'm not use it to your
Paid.
advantage, brother.
Paid day off. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
all praises, brother. And so
Mm,
we going into the video, man. I don't know if y'all been catching Dr. Umar Johnson. He's a Pan Africanism. And so he was sitting on these brothers' show. He had an interview with these brothers, and he said that the black man is the reason why the black woman is masculine like she is, and it been going viral. It
mm.
been
Wow.
going viral. So we gonna go over the video, man. I'm gonna get y'all guys, brothers, point of view, what y'all think about it, and then you, of course, like we always do, we gonna go into the Bible and see what thus says the Lord, man. See what God said, and the reason why we have these issues. We are not here to give opinions. We need solutions, man. We giving here solutions biblically solutions. That's what we here to give, not our opinion. So y'all brothers, what y'all think, man? Now I'm gonna get y'all opinion first. Do y'all think that the reason why the so-called black woman, and I'm gonna rephrase that, some black women, not all black women, now this don't apply to all black women, right? So I don't want you hitting the DM like, oh, you're misogynistic. No, I'm not talking about all black women, right? I'm saying some black women, right? Then we gonna get into this. This is not a female versus male bashing. We gonna get on both sides of the coins, and we gonna deal with it, according to the God, man. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like the old Tina Turner song, it don't matter who's right or wrong. I don't really want to fight no more, man. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It don't matter who's right or wrong, man. So what do y'all brothers think, man? I understand both of y'all brothers married. And so, sometimes, our women can come out to be real masculine. Do you think the black man has a role in that, or you think it's just the black woman tripping?
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, good.
Hey, I look at it, man. I look at our age. Some of us in our 40s and our 50s, you know, and we young to this thing, man. But we'll look at it like, it's an up-to-date issue. Cause you hear it all the time. It's the man fault that we doing this and doing that. But a lot of our people don't like to go back to the source. It all go back to curses and destruction. You did. We get caught up in the prophecy and how it look. But yeah, man, Willie Lynch did a job on us, man, and we did the pretty Tony. We stuck ourselves at the end of the day. I yeah.
Okay. Shalom, brother Phineas.
Shalom, 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 brothers.
Hi,
Shalom,
Shalom,
sister.
up.
Shalom, huh?
hi, how you doing today, man? You still in captivity?
Yeah, yeah, I need to get some stuff done, but not really, man. You know, it's just how my body gonna feel. Yeah.
Yeah, good,
But I
good.
need to push through, but I may chill out.
All praises, man. We going into. Did you see the video with our brother Dr. Umar Johnson, man, on the reason why the black woman are masculine because of the black man? Have you seen it?
Nah, I didn't see it.
Okay. So we gonna go into it a little bit, brother Dion. You was finna get ready to make a point.
Yeah, well, I think Brother Michael has a point as far as the curses are concerned, but it was also a political move as far as the government's concerned and public aid, but as a whole, our people, our brothers are sitting down, like they're not standing up, they're really not being men and being accountable. We making babies with multiple women and
Mm-hmm.
not really being accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we do play a role in that, um, as far as being absent from the scene, which makes a woman, in turn, become she has to play that role. So we do have some accountability in that. However, some women are taking that role and running with it, and thinking that, body count don't matter. I could do what I want, hot girl summer, and think there's no repercussions behind it. But, deep down, she's missing something. And she just ain't really caught up with that situation just yet, So she might have some issues to deal with internally. But I do think that, it's a large percentage of men out here that are standing up and being good fathers and good husbands. And then there's a society of men that don't know what the hell is going on out here, and they literally are lost in the sauce. And I believe that's part of that 2/3 that, that's going to get burnt the heck up. So I do think, in a sense, that we play a role uh, in molding, like creating a model for the young generation, and treating women with a certain amount of respect that could trickle down, have a trickle down effect. But then again, you have some men that don't care and are proud about that, and like the Corey Holcombs, but uh, it's like I can't say 50-50. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the percentage is, but there are a percentage of men out here that's standing up and uplifting women at the same time. But there are also a percentage of men that are running through women and not caring and creating babies and creating this masculine woman in turn. So it's a double-edged sword, And uh, like I said, he's hitting on something, you know what I mean? But ultimately, the man is the head of the woman, so we got to take that responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah, kind. And I would like the ladies in the chat too, man. Who do y'all think responsible? Is it the man? If it's the man, say one. If it's the lady, say two. And if it's both, put three. Put three in the chat. If it's both, and if you have not liked and subscribed, hit those thumbs up button, man. While y'all get a chance, hit those thumbs up, man. You know what I mean? Let's get this thing jumping, man. Brother Phineas, man, what do you think, brother? Who is responsible, man? The black man responsible for the masculinity of the woman, or is it a little bit of both, man? What's your perspective on it, brother Phineas?
what are we saying makes a woman masculine?
Okay.
How masculine are we going? Are we going stud masculine?
Nah.
Or what are we saying? She don't wanna do woman duties?
Right. It's
Nah.
more it's more like what a woman's duty is, like Big Mama. You know what I mean? Big Mama had to be the matriarch over the patriarch. You know what I mean? And don't want to be in a submissive role to the black man.
So we really talking about they don't want to submit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Who fault is that they don't want to submit? Yeah, that's you know, I get what both brothers were saying, man. It's kind of difficult, man. So many different scenarios and situations, and so many things that affect that's caused us to get to this point where women are not, and I don't know if it's just, well, I ain't gonna say that, but yeah, culturally here, it's almost culture also
Mhm.
that women don't do that. They're not taught that. It's a loss. It's not being taught. Women are not being taught how to be wives, how to be homemakers. They ain't got home economics in the schools no more. And men ain't taught how to be men. I think it's a lack of education on both sides, and us going after our desires. You know what I'm saying? Us going after our desires, and the moral compass deteriorating where we don't marriage don't have the same value it had 20 years ago and or 40 years ago. I think marriage has been devalued. And I think too that just this stuff being taught, from television and society of, this Cinderella dream marriage. They don't want that big mama life, man. They want that Real Housewives life. They don't want that big mama life. So the big mamas is done died off, and now you have catering and Real Housewives, man. That's what they want to be, man. So I don't know if I can blame either side. Yeah, we the head. So, yeah. We gotta take a little blame for that, but under this system, we really aren't the head. Under the system of white supremacy, racism, white supremacy, we're not the head. We're kids, to be honest. And so that's another issue that we had to deal with. But I yield, man. I can rant on, but I yield. I ain't got nobody to blame. I ain't, it's all over the place.
All over the place.
Everybody guilty.
So you hit more on three. And look, speaking of home ec, man, I was trying to be a home ec on every period, brother.
Yep.
You go past that room and smell that fresh baked lasagna, man. You have to peek in and get a test of that thing, brother. I used to love home ec, man. And when I was in school, I know a lot of y'all brothers who are a little older, might be in your 40s and your 50s. You can remember when they had more program in schools, like they had shop, or they had mechanic shop. You know what I mean? They had home ec. They had stuff where you really can get a trade even in high school, man. And so a lot of that stuff done changed, man. A lot of that stuff done changed, man. And so I agree.
Shalakia.
Go ahead.
They had the nursing. They had the cosmetology for the sisters.
Yeah.
They had the daycare because especially my school, we a lot of folk had kids, so they had a daycare. Any sister that had a kid, she had to be at the daycare for a period and watch the kids and take care of the kids, and cosmetologists to get facials and get teach you how to do nails and lashes, all that stuff, man.
Yeah,
That's
kind.
what
Go
year
ahead.
was this? I'm sorry, Shalaki. What year was you in high school?
96 to 2000.
Good night. Oh Lord, yeah, the progressive school go.
Hey,
They cut shop out. I was in high school from 83 to 87. And in 83, 84, they had the mechanic shop, but they phased that thing out. We had woodworks, home ec, and the mechanic shop. But they phased the mechanic shop out. We definitely didn't have no daycare, daycare, and yeah, man, home
Yeah,
ec
you
was
can
the
get your
place to
car.
be,
You can get your
huh?
car painted. You,
yep,
you can
Oh
get your car
no,
painted at my school. Yeah.
yep, yep.
no, no,
Hey,
And
no, no.
hey, Salaki. Now, I was 92 to 96.
Wow,
My what I was majoring in was auto mechanics. They had the whole shop down there. I'm talking about you can redo rotors, swap out engine, the whole nine.
wow.
Construction. They showed you how to build, like the frame of doors and all that old stuff. But yeah, I yield.
yeah,
I was in
go ahead,
Chicago though.
go ahead,
I'm sorry, I was
go
in
ahead, brother.
Chicago, so maybe the South was a little different, more progressive. I don't know.
Yeah, and and things happen to things it be different depending on counties, states, and cities. You know what I mean? It's
Oh yeah,
certain things happen in certain cities and might not happen in others. But we see the gist of it. Like it was really preparing men to get out there and women to get out there and be able to be providers, man. And we gonna get into the video, man. Without further ado, man, if one of y'all brothers, can y'all give me on Psalms 133 and verse 1, Baba Kishar, before we start the video?
uh, Psalms 133 and verse 1. How behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the hair that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Selah.
Say a lot, man. So it's always a beautiful thing when I get the Most High give us the spirit to dwell in unity, man. And all we just doing is trying to figure this thing out for the returning of our Messiah. So we gonna get into it. You see, y'all could already see the captures. Has feminism contradicted black shlocking, contra conditional. I can't even see that. Yeah, contradict that. And what is black women to view black
Conditions.
men? Condition shalakia. Black women to view black men as the enemy. Kind of right. Condition black women to view black men as the enemy. Shalakia family. And so we gonna go ahead and get into the video. Oh, hold on, Shalakia.
Was right, yeah, mother of modern feminism because
Let me
traditional feminism goes back to the
let me
1800s
go back. Okay, there we go.
as the enemy. It has feminism was financed by the CIA. Glory and said we're going to fight because we got a common enemy, white supremacy, and we're going to put our votes behind a candidate who offers to do the most for us. That would be revolutionary. Definitely.
So speaking of that, I've seen a video of yours where you said that feminism has conditioned black women to view black men as the enemy.
It has. Feminism was financed by the CIA. Gloria, what was her name? Gloria Steinem, I think she was.
Right, yeah.
Mother of modern feminism because traditional feminism goes back to the 1800s, right? With Susan B. Anthony and those white supremacists. But Gloria Steinem was a CIA agent. They financed her. Her first feminist magazine they paid for. The CIA brought feminism into the white household to get the woman out the house and into the black household to turn the black woman against the black man. To scapegoat us for problems caused for her by white supremacy.
So, obviously, a big thing, obviously, we spoke about the gender wars, earlier. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation nowadays about, the value of what a woman brings and the value of what a man brings in a relationship. And now there's a lot more rhetoric from our women that we hear is, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, right?
That's
So,
just that's pain speaking, though.
right.
Because most black women know they will never get a man. A black woman can have sex whenever she wants
Right.
because she's beautiful. She can have a bed mate, but to have a soul mate, she may never get. I have 2 daughters, 11 and 20, right? My oldest will be 21 this week. Statistically, right? There's a strong chance my daughter could be one of those. I hope she's not. She could be one of those who never get a husband because only 1 out of 4 gets a husband. You see that? So when a black woman says, I don't need a man, that is a reaction to the reality that I may not get a man.
So why not preach? Because I understood, you're obviously against interracial relations when it comes to black men with black women. With white women.
With all women. You should only be with the black woman.
And you will say, well, if you can't find a good woman in America,
Go
there's
somewhere
plenty
else.
in Africa.
Absolutely.
So why not teach that same rhetoric to our women? Like, if you feel
I
like
tell sisters all the time, go to Africa.
So
I know sisters who marry. I just spoke with a sister. She invited me to the wedding. She just married a brother from the continent.
So, but instead of saying they will never get married,
I'll take sisters to Africa who married brothers they met in Africa.
Right.
So yeah,
I think there's plenty. I think there's obviously plenty of black men
yes,
for black women. So
and what I also tell black women, if you're going to,
and see, the problem is you gotta be willing to let the man let him get his thoughts out, man. And see, that's just not in Israel, right? Pan Africanism had the same thing. Allowing people to talk, to have a dialogue, because he don't really understand the question the guy's trying to ask him. But he already done form a thought. He already done form a thought. So sometimes it's just best to listen. It's good to listen to each other so we can get our thoughts out.
Go get you an African man from the continent.
Right.
You're going to have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
Why the fuck is it tolerated? It's not tolerated here. That's what we're trying to tell them.
Well,
so you stumped him, right? Because he's saying that, and this is the contradiction, right? For me, he's saying that, look, that the black on the so-called African man ain't gonna tolerate that, right? Ain't gonna tolerate that. And when you go into those African countries, the African man treat the African woman worse than Jake treat Eve over here. See, those African men over there is treating their women's worse than the way we treat our women. Right? Not all of them. I'm saying it's a large community of them into polygamy, right? I seen this one story of this African man. This dude had like about 100 kids, man. He had like 100 kids. You know what I mean? And he got the lady who was telling the story. He had got her when she was like 13, 14 years old. Then when she got around 28, 29, he left her and went somewhere else. So we can't act like everything in Africa is all good, because that's just not the case, man. They actually doing worse than we are, but we'll keep playing.
But here, I want to say this to us, though, because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. You understand me? Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work, or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that, and then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry with us. We have not been on our job as black men. If the men are the providers, what have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually.
Yes.
Because you may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. But guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? And the minute she raised her voice, we say she's not humble enough? She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
I understand that, but she needs to be
If we was loving
selective.
our women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
If she's picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of
You're making her a scapegoat.
No, she's picking a scapegoat.
No.
There's good
Can I ask you a
quality
question?
men that they ignore.
Why she even got it? Why is there even a Pookie in the selection?
You gotta ask her that.
No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection.
What?
Because black men have abandoned black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie. If we never allowed Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie. If we're going to be men, the first thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women feel the way they feel.
These attributes to.
All right, so we're gonna get into this next clip, but what do y'all think what the brother said so far? Do you agree, disagree? What you guys? What does says you guys? Is the reason why the black woman have this masculine spirit? No, not my words, Dr. Umar Johnson. So y'all write him, right? Have this masculine spirit, right? It's because the so-called black man has failed, right? And I'll let you brothers, give y'all opinion on that, and then I'm gonna kind of shift gears on it because I think it's more the things that we are not looking at instead of than the things that we are looking at, right? And so, what do y'all brothers think? Any one of y'all brothers can go first. Is the black man responsible for the black woman, the spirit of the black woman being broken, where she had to take on this matriarch spirit and be big mama, sitting at the head of the table and giving the orders to the rest of the family? Is that our fault? Any one of y'all brothers?
Brother Michael, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You got what you got? We can go in the same order.
Yeah, like I always go back to we get caught up in the look of prophecy. It's just it's amazing. You know, the Most High said this stuff was gonna happen, and we get caught up in how it look. What do a baby daddy look like when it comes to prophecy in 2023? That Deuteronomy 28 and 54, and for the woman 56. That's what a baby daddy look like. It say he gonna leave the remnant of his child, which he shall leave. It's just amazing, man, and we sit here and go back and forth about who fault it is. You know, we want them slave ship. We ain't have nobody to hold on to and to depend on but ourselves. You know, when did it go haywire? That's the question. At the end of the day, this stuff all part of the Most High doing. But I yield though.
And yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The thing that's more we looking at the like the old song the hanging fruit, right? We looking at the low hanging fruit, so we snatching it, but we don't understand that before it became low, it started growing all over the tree, right? And so we got to get the root of the matter. We got to understand how that tree grow. And so it ain't about the low hanging fruit, right? And so we gonna get into the spiritual things that I think that we always overlook, brother. Dion, what you think, brother?
Uh, he had a couple valid points. You did, and I can relate because I didn't really, even I got 4 kids, and I didn't 100% raise them either. So, can I say I contributed to the mom becoming having a masculine spirit? I don't know if I could say that, but I was like a weekend dad, and uh, I know, I know I grew up with a father, so it's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow to say that I made my kid's mom, uh, like, you know, turn into this type of person as a result of my actions. Was it meant to be? Was it God's plan initially off the rip? Obviously, because it happened, but I blame myself in this way that only in the way that I wasn't man enough to stick by a woman that I don't think I was meant to be with. I think, women come into your life for a reason or a season, and that particular those women came into my life for a reason, and that was to have them kids. And I bear the brunt of that, and I don't know if I would get punished for that, for not being that in that household, but it is a reality that I face. So, do I think I contributed to that? Yes. Do I think I manifested a masculine spirit in that woman? No. Uh, but I believe what my man said does have some credence. It does have some pull to it. However, I don't like him, so I don't really believe it. That's what he say. I yield.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. Like sometimes we deal with things indirectly, but we only see the things that's right in front of us. Like for an example, if your father was an alcoholic, what is the percentage of you being an alcoholic? Or if your father was a cigarette smoker, what is the percentage of you being a cigarette smoker? Or if your father was a womanizer, what is the percentage of you being a womanizer? And so this is what I'm saying about the things that's spiritual. Because do we face certain things, certain realities before we even come out the womb? Like who your mama choose to be your father, right? And does that make up who you are and some of the things that you might have to go through eternally? Not the stuff, externally, not the stuff that we can see, the working, all that other stuff, but how we think, what goes on between our two ears. Sometimes for me, that could be some of the things we face based on who our father was, based on our father and based on his father, and so on, so on, so on. So I think some things we deal eternally. What about you, Brother Finney? What you think about what Brother Dr. Umar Johnson said?
I think he got some points. I think he he has some points, and we do need to step up, man. We do have to be in the communities. We do have to show, be better figures for our kids to look up to. We do have to cut off um social media and so forth. And some of these outside influences from our kids because it is influencing them. Um and I don't even know. I think I seen another clip with him where he was saying that like you can't blame it on on oppression for us not getting married, because we got married on the plantation. We were getting married on the plantation. Even when, master was taking our wives and doing what they want to do with them, we still, even in that type of environment, we still was getting married. We still was jumping the broom, as they say. Far more than we're doing it today. And so it's something psychologically that happened to us, man, where we don't even trust each other. And it's more and more, the more and more we see, marriage is failing. I seen this one interview where the sister said, she asked the other sisters around, name three of your female, your aunties that married. And all them jokers was quiet. They couldn't name 3 aunties that were married. And I'm sitting here thinking about it myself. I got 2. I know 2. I know 3. I had 3 in my generation, but they were from another generation. But yeah, I say it's consequences for a man not being in the house. That has to be, even to the point of sisters marrying they sons. I done seen conversations about that also, where they getting their love through their son and caressing him and hugging him when they need to be hugged and touched and grooming him to be. And you'll see sisters dress they sons up like like them Pookies and Ray Rays that they want, and that's what they want. It ain't just, you just can't say, oh man, we ain't making, because we ain't developing the Pookies and no, they want that. They've been groomed to want it. They prefer that. That's their preference. They want that action. They want the drama. They want the street life. They want the danger. They don't want to be bored. They don't want to be bored. They don't want no picket fence. They don't want that no more. And they don't want that because of how they've been socially groomed through the medias today. But you.
And bro, you done made a couple of good. You own it today, boy. You own it because you done made some good points, right? One is, do black women's want the good man? I mean, cause I hear it, but even with my daughter, even with people I know, it's like it's always some kind of attraction when it comes to the roughneck, like MC Light used to say, gotta have it, right? It's something about the roughneck. But when you when you the good guy, right? When you the good guy, it's frowned upon, and being socially programmed, and that's the point I was making about socially programmed. That it's like the Terminator, man. You know what I mean? It's like we all are socially programmed. Even when we was coming up, we had more influences about the world than even what your parents was telling you, because we were socially programmed, right? And so that's another thing that we now got to keep in mind going to this next clip, because we're going to go into this next clip and then we're going to see what you got to think about it. And then we're going to go back to the 70s and see what they was arguing back at those times. And y'all going to see something sound very, very similar to what about the Umar Johnson was just talking about. So let's get into this next clip.
So discord among them. To outline this method, he said,
Shalaki, he going into the Willie Lynch letter. Shalaki, he going into the Willie Lynch letter. I didn't play the whole thing. I'm trying to shorten it up. But that's what he going into the Willie Lynch letter.
Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must.
There we go. That's the topic for the day. The male against the female, and the female against the male. Right? Let's keep going. Shalakia.
Also have white servants and overseers who distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. The full text of this speech was first published sometime in 1970 in
White Society, but
Okay, so this is the Willie Lynch going into the distrust among black people. And here in 2023, we still having this argument and trying to figure out why you have certain prowess, if you will, among black people. Like why you have the distrust among the black man against the black woman. Why you have distrust among the dark skinned against the light? Why you have this kind of distrust against the rich and the poor? Why is it like that among our community? And you see right here that he's talking about how Woody Lynch have laid this thing all out, right? And then we see in 2023 it's relevant. We can't say, well, that's not relevant. That wasn't a real person, but we see the effect of it because we talking about it now. We talking about, like Brother Phineas said, about seeing the a video where a woman couldn't even name three people in her family of women wives was married, right? And you start to see more and more of our women's come away from that, and now you got the Cardi B's and the Nicki Minaj's, right? Now we got these type of women's that's playing such a role among our young black women, right? So-called black women. And so that's what Willie Lynch, the Willie Lynch was about. And so this is what is some of the effects we starting to see. And we got to get into that whole male having. I looked at this video this morning about Shorty Lowe. He had 12 kids by 10 different women. He had 12 kids by 10 different women. And so where are we getting this spirit of just want to be around all these women like that? And not playing a role in being an active role in our kids' life. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm saying that most men who have a bunch of kids, or don't be knowing 9 out of 10 don't be around, right? And somebody else is leave to be father to them, man. And right, and so where's we getting this that we gotta have 30 women, man? That's one of the things we did in slavery, right? We did that in slavery. Um, where hey man, you had one dude that had over 1,000 kids. I did a video about that about 4 weeks ago. He had over 1,000. He had over 1,000 kids, man. One dude. So are we still practicing things we did in slavery? Are we the same spirit back on the earth again, back as usual? No, but we don't forgot that slavery been demolished, and we still doing the same thing, and having all these kids and not taking care of them. So you see that that it's still the problem still existing. Like the chains been off our necks and our hands, but we still see the results to this day. So we got another video, and then we gonna go into the text. But it's another video. They did a survey. Matter of fact, I'll let the video tell you what it is.
to each other in a black. The feeling of racial pride is not new for many African Americans, but the resurgence of black awareness and pride, black men and women face new problems, not only in relation to white society, but to each other in a black society. Recently, there has been a stream of articles on this subject, and the Chicago Daily Defender, America's largest black newspaper, began a series some weeks ago on the emergence of the new black woman. Benny Washington, reporter for the paper, surveyed the Chicago scene to report on how black men and women believe the revolution in racial pride will affect them and their families, before the sociologists and experts tell us how we are supposed to react.
As a reporter for the Chicago Daily Defender, and as a black woman married to a black man, I become deeply aware of the effects of this new black revolution on the relationship between black man and black woman. I see it among my own friends, and I also see it in my home. But the most revealing and the most vocal statements about what the new black man expects from the new black woman came when I met with a group of young unmarried friends one Saturday afternoon.
And Shalaki, she's saying new black woman or new black man. This is the 70s. You can see how old the picture is. This is in the 70s. And now, 50 years later, here's the results. This is in the 70s. So y'all keep that in mind. This is in the 70s.
I think that what's happening in America as far as black men, black women is concerned is that there's a revolution within a revolution. We are fighting our own woman. Our woman will not allow us to emerge as black men. No. But our black women, who has been put in this role of aiding white America, white structure, and castrating the black male, has continued doing this. She cannot live with us. It's not that we can't live with her.
Are you blaming us? Are you saying that it's our fault that this happened?
No, I'm not blaming black America women. I just said that I'm blaming the system. They are victims of the system like the black male.
Well, why do you say that we are castrating you? You say that you want to be the leaders. Okay, well, what about the black professional woman? Are you saying that there should be no black professional woman? Are you trying to deny black women the right to be creative, the right to function?
We're not asking for you to take a back seat. We're saying that you have got to be astute enough and can view the situation well enough where you just automatically know what your role is and step back. And whenever you want to have that aggressive thing, this is the thing that the young black man today is not going to tolerate. My old man tolerated it because his old man tolerated it. It came up for years and years and years. But today, the young black man is not going to take it. He's going to be out there as the leader. White America has used black women to keep the black male in his place. And you're still aiding him by saying, well, we are qualified, we want to work, we can help.
Okay, how are you going to reprogram men so that they don't let us take over what's supposed to be their responsibility? And men that I have had dealings with, they are perfectly willing to sit back and let us do anything we want to.
I don't think that you have to reprogram men. I think you have to reprogram women.
No, you have to reprogram the man so that he will.
He said, I don't think you have to reprogram the man. You gotta reprogram the woman, man. And see, here it is again, like Brother Mike was saying earlier, we study blaming one another, right? Right? We study dealing with that male macho pride, right? That no, I don't have to change. You the one got the problem. You the one got the issue. But it's an old adage of if one fail, we all fail. And so the household is a unit. And so you can be right and wrong at the same time. All right. So a leader gotta really, if we gonna be the heads of the house, we gotta know how to navigate not only by dictatorship, but we also gotta be good listeners. That's the art of having being a good leader. Not saying you gotta just submit and bow down to it, but just be a good listener. Because sometimes your wife might have a better point, and sometimes you might have a better point, but both y'all gotta listen to one another to make sure that both y'all understand each other's point of view. Here we go.
Forcefully take what belongs to him, because women, as long as we can get, we're gonna get, and it's part of our being. We're going to do anything to you that you let us, whether we want to or not.
You don't want to live on the level of income that I can afford you and love me on the basis of that. You want to always be inspired to have all those things that's a part of the great middle class white American society. And because I can't deliver these things to you, you say that you are not a man.
I don't measure a man by how much money he can bring home. I measure a man by how he treats me. Whether when I'm tired and I'm sick and I'm scared, he's there.
For these women, the men are there. But with the feeling of racial pride has come new conflicts and new problems. Across America, they meet to discuss what Black awareness means to their families and to them as Black women of today.
There have been a lot of myths created about the Black family. We all recognize that. And one of the most pernicious myths is the myth of the Black matriarch. And this whole concept, and I think this is one of the reasons that the black community reacted so negatively to the Moynihan report, because we know that that's not true.
It was not like
the black woman has not been a matriarch in the sense that it has been defined thus far. And thank God research, and I hope black research is being done now to reverse that kind of thing. In fact, the black woman has been a woman at the head of a household, not by choice, but by necessity. And more often, that's right, and more often than not, she is not a strong, matriarchal, aggressive, domineering figure. She is a woman in search of a man. But this story has not been told.
The prejudiced society created what we have now. So that's what we were. Okay, we have a revolution going on. We're part of the revolution.
We're in an evolution. I think the revolution is yet to come.
Yeah, it's to come.
Well, this thing will
She said that we are part of the revolution. We're the evolution. And see, and so we gotta understand this. This is a part of that feminist movement, the evolution of women. And so some things like hey, I'm all for women's having jobs and all that, and reaching for their goals and dreams, right? But it's a two-parter to that, right? Like it's okay for women to have their dreams, but when she come home, can she cut it off? And that's the $1 million question. Yeah, you could be supervisor at the work, but when you come home, are you gonna be my wife, or do you still think you supervisor? All right, and so these are the questions that we got to start having with one another, because God had an order, not man. God had an order, and we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But I just wanted to see if y'all caught. She said the evolution, and the dude said we got a revolution within a revolution. And how do you defeat people, right? Like when you understand COINTELPRO and all that stuff, how do you defeat an arch enemy? Do you defeat him if he got just as much as guns as you have? If he have just as much as weapons of warfare than you have, the same armor that you have. And so when you look at it, you say, look, they got 1,000 men, we got 1,000 men. They got 1,000 guns, we got 1,000 guns. So it's gonna just be a bunch of bloodshed. But how do you defeat the arch enemy? Is by infiltrating his fort or his enemy line, right? You got to get on the other side, somebody in your ranks on the other side giving you the intel. You got to tear it in from the inside out and not from the outside in. So this is what I think they have figured out when it comes to us. I'm not going to beat you down just on the outside, but I'm going to beat you down when you get home. And so that's a whole revolution within the revolution. All right, but we're going to keep going. Y'all brother got something? Okay, we keep going.
Word revolution around lightly.
Actress Val Ward performs the works of our Black poets and dramatists. For her, Black awareness is not revolutionary, but the very foundation of her marriage. Val's husband, Francis Ward, talks of the struggles of the Black family in the past and the obstacles that lie ahead.
It's extremely important for Black history and culture to be transmitted from generation to generation. And the best way, the most effective way that this has always been done is through the family, acting as the primary unit of social organization. And I think one reason why it has not been done with Black people is because of the destruction done to our family life. So this certainly has to be one function of the Black marriage, to begin to reemphasize and to pick up the thread of Afro-American history and culture that has been left off generations ago when Africans were sold into slavery, when the family unit was purposely destroyed. Part of the obligation of being Black is to make absolutely certain that whoever has any kind of control or jurisdiction over your kid is not bringing him into conflict with the kinds of things we teach. We try to instill in them here in the home.
Most middle-class homes, quote middle-class homes, like I don't even get caught up in that bag, you go into will have some copy of anybody, any white artist, I don't even have to name anybody, instead of the works of Black artists. I think it starts, especially that identity part, the books, the kinds of books.
And that goes into the imagery, and you see IUIC. Shout out to my brother IUIC. But you see a lot of their methodology is to tear down the white image of Christ, and this is what she's saying, because subliminally, like if you don't start seeing greatness within yourself, if you don't start seeing greatness within yourself, then everything else gonna seem greater. That's why it's important to have self-identity. Because if you don't have self-identity, then you're going to be linking on to everybody else's identity. And then when you turn around and look at, you're going to realize you got nothing left for yourself. Right? You're going to be looking like, everybody else, and you have nothing for yourself. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. America is a melting pot. Right? But when you look at other cultures, like I said, I'm from Miami originally. And so when you go into, in certain parts of Miami, those people who come from across and coming from other places have not lost their culture. They still have their festivals. They still have whatever. They haven't lost their cultures, but we, on the other hand, we have lost our culture. We have lost our identity. We don't have no place to go back to. So we are property of America. But guess what? When you listen to Dr. Michael Brown, he's very proud of his Jewish ancestry. He's proud of that thing. He's proud of his Jewish culture, right? But we have lost ours. And that's why we are trying to get it back. But we can't try to get it back contrary to the text, because it ain't going to work out for you good like that. You can't try to get your culture back by all means necessary. That's why you got to listen to what thus says the Lord. That's why you got to, forget all your pre-notions and listen to what God says. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what kind of pre-notion you got. When you stand in the front of Christ, everything else going to be out the door. So that's why we got to submit to the will of God. We almost done. With this video.
A lot of these things start in the home rather than complaining about them being in the schools at this point.
Unless we're absolutely certain of how that teacher is handling them, then we may have to assume that whole responsibility. We may have to pull them out of school ourselves, and do all the educating ourselves.
Say, for instance, when they say to my child to draw, last year Rhonda painted Abraham Lincoln brown and she was put in the corner, We had to go up to the school and deal with that. They must be respectable to their peers in school. And what we do, we handle that. We don't say, you jump up, you curse that teacher out, or you say it doesn't exist. But they see us at that school knocking on the door. You have to be in there. Either we're going to control.
And see, that's a problem, because they child painted Abraham Lincoln black, and it was a problem, or brown, right? And it was a problem. So how do you think we feel about painting Christ white when the text don't tell you that? And that's what I'm saying. Even a lot of these apologetics, they trying to hold up to white supremacy without saying I'm holding up to white supremacy. Because can nobody, if you're going to be total transparent, you're going to be able to tell the good and bad within your own ranks and with outside your ranks, like in Israel, right? You're going to be able to tell what's good and bad. If you total transparent and you total fighting for the truth, you will be transparent. Because it ain't about how you feel or what make you get off. Only thing your heart desire is the truth. And it should always be about the truth. So she's making a point about her child painting Abraham Lincoln black. and there was an issue. She got put in the corner for that. Why? Because the teacher understands how important history is. And you're not just going to go out painting our white images black because that's the way you see them. All right. Keep going.
Oh, their minds here, or at least give them the choice.
A lot of this is new to us, and a lot of these things we're grappling with, and we don't want to give anybody the impression that we have the answer to everything.
Not only that, though, let me cut you off again. People go around talking about hate. We really don't have time to hate because, it goose up the bag. We're loving ourselves. Mm-hmm. This might bring around a lot of other different things.
To be black means to love. It's got nothing to do with having hate anybody.
It does determine, though, Francis, and has nothing to do with hate again. It's love. That we might have to do certain things to protect that love.
It may bring us into conflict with somebody.
Necessary to protect that love.
Finally, I asked Francis about the standards of today's black man as compared with those of 20 years ago.
Standards which white society had projected. I think these standards were that he had to become successful according to the white mode. He had to get a good job. He had to buy a good car. He had to move to the suburbs. He had to rear a good family that went to church every Sunday, that did everything that the typical good American family was supposed to do. And I don't think the black man necessarily is addicted to that notion. I think he sees the falsity of it. I think he sees the total hypocrisy of it. I think he wants to rear a tightly knit family, but not for the purposes that white society says. He doesn't want to rear a family for any sham purposes, just to fulfill some false ethic. But he wants to rear a good family in order to have his children strong, reared in his own image perhaps, and to transmit, most importantly, to transmit the values which he is learning to his children, and to try to ensure as best he can that his children will transmit those same values to their children, and have the same transmission repeated from generation to generation.
Listen to me.
All righty then, man. So what do y'all think, man? Got a little more to go, but we're gonna get into some text real quick. And so here's the issue was going on in the 70s. You see that, it was issues, and and the dude was very, 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 very meek and humble. You see, she kind of talked them over a little bit, see what you guys think about that. But so the problem in the black community, as a whole, we see they had the same conversation in the 70s. You see a little earlier got kind of heated. Well, are you blaming the women? Are you saying that, how do I need to change the black man? No, you don't need to change the black man. You need to change the black woman, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we still see these arguments going on today because ain't nothing has been resolved. And we done did everything. We done march, we done protest, we done, but one thing we have not did is come out of the world and came back to the text. God gave us specific instruction. If you had instruction how to become a millionaire, and if you followed it step by step, it'll be the best seller on the New York Times seller list, right? If there was a book out to show you how to become a millionaire, all you gotta do is follow step by step, you're gonna become a millionaire. But God is trying to tell you how to have a successful marriage and a successful life with your family. But are we willing to listen to what God says? All right. So what do y'all brothers think about the video before we go into the text? Matter of fact, let's go into the text, then we'll have a conversation. How about that? Let's go to one of y'all brothers give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 54. Y'all turn with us Deuteronomy 28 and 54 because Brother Michael mentioned it earlier, so I'll be remiss if I don't go back to it, because these are some of the issues that God said will happen to Israel in the last days. So give me Deuteronomy 28 and 54, and one of y'all brothers give me 2nd Ezra 7, 46 through 48.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Which he shall leave, right? And so the Bible is very poetic. And so he's telling you that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. Dr. Umar Johnson said earlier about, yeah, you might be a good father, but what about you, the neighborhood bully, right? What about the kids in the neighborhood? Are you being a good father to him? And is it an evil eye towards our youth, right? And so these are the things that we have to start addressing, right? Because the Most High said this was going to happen. When you go to Deuteronomy 20 and 15, it tells you that these will be the curses that will fall on Israel if they did not hearken unto the Most High God. And so it said, a man that's tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother and toward his wife of his bosom and toward the rim of his children, which he shall leave. And that's what we see. We see a mass dash to the door of men leaving the wife of his bosom. All right. So let's get that in second Esdras 7, 46 to 48. Who's to blame? Who's to blame, right? So second Esdras 7, 46 to 48.
Second Ezra chapter 7, 46. I answered them then and said, This is my first and last saying, that it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam, or else when it was given him, to have restrained him from sinning. For what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment? O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee.
Yeah, because Adam sinned, right? It wasn't because Adam sinned alone, but everyone that came from Adam have to pay that price. That's even included these nations. And so these are the reason why we have this sin, the transgression, this evil heart, because the sin of Adam. So was Adam to blame? Was man? Because man come from Adam. So was man to blame? All right. Well, let's get Ecclesiasticus 25 and 24 and 1 Timothy 2 and 14.
It's the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 25, verse 24.
Okay.
Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die.
Okay. So Andrew is saying, Adam, you sin, you transgress, so we all died, right? That all that came from you died. But remember, Adam had a conspirator. Her name was Eve, right? And so it said the same thing about Eve. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all died. That's what Andrew said about Adam. So let's see what Paul says. 1 Timothy 2 and 14.
That's 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 14. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
Read verse 16.
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety.
So Paul said it, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression, because she was the first one that Satan approached, or the serpent approached, right? And so everybody paid that price, right? First, Eve was in the transgression. She talked to her husband, but Adam, who God gave the laws to. Matter of fact, let's get that Genesis real quick. Let's get Genesis 3 real quick. Watch how God deal with it. And so we'll see. Let's go to Genesis 3 and let's start at verse 6. And I want to show you how the Most High was looking at this. Because if we just look at the text, and sometimes we'll look at it and say, well, he was in the wrong. Adam was in the wrong. But let's see what the Most High said. Right? Genesis 3 and 6.
God. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
Go ahead.
And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewn fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou?
Shalakia. Verse 9, it said, the Lord Yahweh called unto Adam and said, unto him, where art thou? Why didn't he call Eve? Or why didn't he call both of them? Adam and Eve, where art thou? But he called Adam. But watch this. Keep reading.
And he said, I hear thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat?
Shalakia. And the Most High said, with my James L. Jones voice, who said? He said, who told thee that thou was naked? I mean, with that deep James L. Jones voice, man. You know what I mean? You know, who told you was naked, brother? Right? And so, verse 12, brother.
And the man said, the woman who thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
And see, Adam being slick here, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the reason why God said it ain't meet for a man to be alone, because he was looking like a pound puppy when he seen everything had a mate, and he looking sad, and he drooling at the mouth like, man, they got one with mine. And the Most High gave you the woman, right? Because you desire her, man. But then now you in some kind of trouble. You throwing Eve under the bus. Look, and the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Right? So he throwing Eve under the bus right here. But go ahead.
And the Lord God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Mm-hmm.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Mm-hmm.
Until the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to the husband, and he shall rule over thee.
And see, that's what the Most High said. And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And that's why in the 70s we arguing about this, because the man, he somehow understands this rule right here, right? And the woman, like, you know, what about if she's a independent woman? But you know, according to the Most High, it's no such thing, right? Your desire should be to your husband if you believe the Bible. Watch this, keep reading.
Verse 17, and unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake, and sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life.
Curse should be the grounds for thy sake. All right. And sorrow shall thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Hey man. So let's get it. So who? I mean, if y'all think that Adam was at fault, let me put a one in the chat. If Eve was at fault, put a one in the chat. If both of them was at fault, put a three in the chat, man. We gonna get this thing popping, man. All right. So let's get Peter. Let's get First Peter 3 and 1 through 8. Because this is how God meant for us to be treating one another. Like we gotta get out of our own way. So let's see what the Bible says. How do a man and a wife supposed to treat one another? So let's get First Peter 3 and 18. And brothers and sisters, let's see if you agree with the text. First Peter 3 through 8. I mean 3, 1 through 8.
This is First Peter chapter 3 and verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husband, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives.
So when you went
While they
into yeah, my bad, brother. When you went earlier, the brother just read about one of Eve's punishment is her desire should be to her husband, right? That and first thing Peter said, likewise, ye wives, be subjection to your own husband. I'm just saying, right? Verse 2, brother.
while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning of plating the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is inside of God a great price. For after this manner in the old time the holy woman also, who trusted in God, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husband, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous.
Be courteous. The water, and it telling you, verse 6, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and not and are not afraid with any amazement. Are you willing to call your husband Lord? Or do you want to call him Negro? Go take out the garbage, Negro. Or you gonna call him Lord, man? Like that ain't nothing, man. And so who daughters you are, as long as what as say, and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, ye husbands, the well with them according to knowledge, giving honor. Are we honoring our wives? Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Remember, for what if a man to leave his father and mother, cleave to his wife, heirs together? Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous. And so, are we being compassionate one with another, loving as brethren, being pitiful and courteous? I mean, are we doing this? I mean, married men, hey man, are you doing that to your wife? Are you being, having compassion with her as brethren? Are you being pitiful and courteous to her? Baby, you look nice today. You don't go, woman, go get my plate. Where my food at? What we doing, man? Right? And so we got to understand what the text says, man. We got to be all in one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brothers, to be pitiful and courteous. So Let's get somebody give me First Kings 2 and 1 through 4. And this is why it's so important to understand what God says. We fight and try to say, well, the law good or ain't good, keep the commandments good or ain't good. But we got to understand why God gave it to us in the first place, right? So let's get that in First Kings 2, 1 through 4.
The book of First Kings, chapter 2, verse 1. Now the days of David grew nigh that he should die. And he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments, and his judgments, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself.
Okay. And so the scripture telling you, David telling Solomon, man, show thyself a man by following the ways of God. Like we say that you want a man, but what is it? What is it to be a man? Right? What is it? What this for the women's. When you say I want a good man, what is you actually talking about? What is those like if you had to write down some of the characteristics of what a good man is, and this is what what I want. Is it the things of the Lord, or is it something personal? A good man to me, it got to be a tall man. I need a real tall man, or I need a real thin, or whatever your characteristic is. But is any of those things is a man that fears God? Just saying. Right? Because this is what it is to be a man, fellas. It's following the ways of the Most High, following the ways of our Creator. He taught us, He created us, and He taught us what it takes to be a man. Right? So give me Genesis 24, because as married people, we got to learn how to, and for you single people out there as well, but when a man is looking for his wife, right? Some of the characteristics of a good wife is according to what the text says. The reason why I say some of the characteristics, because the other part is physical. Everybody got what they like. Come on now. Everybody got what they like, right? Everybody, people like, yeah, man, I'm just looking for a good man. But if he not what you're attracted to, come on, man. Or she not what you're attracted to, come on, man. So it's the other part, physical, which I say should be like 25%. 75% should be the ways of God. That 25%, well, I say that 80% should be the ways of God. 20% should be the whole physical thing, right? Because that's important, right? So let's get that in and that's just my opinion, right? Let's get that in Genesis 2 and 24.
Genesis what?
Genesis 2 and 24.
2 and 24.
Okay.
This is Genesis 2 and 24. It says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
That's what Peter said. Oh, Shalaki, go ahead.
And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed.
Kind, the water, brother. That's what Peter said. He said, verse 7, likewise, ye husband, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life. Becoming one flesh. We all got to be saying the same thing. Be all one minded. Verse 8. Finally, be all in one mind, having compassion one toward another. And so that's what it is for a man to cleave to his hot wife, to be all at one mind, and y'all being being heirs according to the promise. Matthew 5:31 to 32. Just giving you some characteristics, what the Most High said, and this is our Lord and Savior saying it here. And brothers in Israel, y'all better get your mind right. Matthew 5:31 through 32.
All right. Book Matthew chapter 5, verse 31. It have been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causing her to commit adultery, and whosoever shall marry her, that is divorced, committed adultery.
Committed adultery. The only way a man's supposed to put away his wife if she cheat on him. Period. Y'all brothers is willing to. And I heard one of my brothers say, man, hey man, I know, man, hey, I gotta choose wisely. I gotta choose wisely, brother. You know what I mean? I just can't make anybody my wife. I gotta choose wisely. And that's a smart man. All right. That's a smart man, man. You know, and so who else will put her away except for fornication, calls her to commit adultery, man. Do y'all believe the text? Well, my precept, this a long text, man. First Corinthians 7 through 1. Any one of y'all brothers can get it. We're gonna read all the way down. I just want to read his last text. First Corinthians 7, and we're starting at verse 1. And if your brother get tired, then one of us will take over because it's a long verse. But Paul going into this marriage thing, and this is the whole video was about the problem with the black man and the black woman. And at the end of the day, it don't matter who's wrong or right. It's all our problem because our kids are being affected by it. You know, our women's are being affected by it, and our men's are being affected by it. So at the end of the day, all of us wrong, and God is right. All right. So First Corinthians 7 verse 1.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The
Shalakia.
wife,
Oh, Shalakia. Can brother Michael, can you look at that word benevolence, please, brother? Because it said, let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, right? And likewise also the wife unto the husband. So both of them got to deliver this benevolence, right? So can you give me that definition, brother?
But
Benevolence. Okay.
Well-meaning and kindly, kind-hearted, warm-hearted, tender-hearted, caring, compassionate, gracious, thoughtful, charitable, unselfish.
Charitable. Kind. Are we doing that to our wives? And wives, are you doing it to your husband? Right? Are you kind to your husband? Are you kind to your wife? Right? And so this see, the Bible ain't really pulling sides here. It's trying to correct everybody. Right? But watch this. Verse 4.
the wife have not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband have not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency.
Yeah, and Shalakia right there, it says defraud, not eat one another. And what that mean, don't hold out. You know, hope y'all got the children put away, but it mean don't hold out. Right? Don't get mad at the man. You mad at the man, and so he come home, he wanna, get some time with his wife, and she like, no, I'm putting you on a punishment. And same thing with the husband. Oh, I got a headache tonight, not tonight. All right? You can't defraud you one another, man. Except it be with the consent for a time that ye may give yourself to fasting and prayers and come together again. Mean, come together again, right? So I just wanted to make that plain for you. Verse 6.
But I speak this by permission and not of a commandment. For I would that all men were even as I myself. But every man have his proper gift of God, one after this manner, and another after that.
And so
I take no
Shalakia,
thought.
for I speak this by permission and not a commandment. What he's talking about is for man, for I would that all men was even as myself. This is what he's speaking for permission and not commandment, right? Not all everything he just said. Right here, verse 7, for I would that all men were even as myself, but every man has his proper gift of God, one after this manner and another after that. And you got brothers in Israel trying to say, well, Paul was giving his own opinion. It's taught he let you know what that opinion is about. It wasn't about a woman not defrauding her husband or the husband not defrauding the wife. Had nothing to do with that. It was talking about that a man could be doing the work for the Most High, or a woman could do the work for the Most High. But all of it was not his opinion. But watch this. He gonna tell you. Go ahead. Verse 8.
I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide as even as I. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. But, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife, but to be the rest speak. But to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman which have an husband be that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God hath called us to peace. For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? And how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife? But as God hath distributed to every man, as the Lord hath called every one, so let him walk. And so ordain I in all churches.
Mm-hmm.
Is any man called being circumcised? Let him not become uncircumcised. Is any called in uncircumcision? Let him not be circumcised. Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing, but the keeping of the commandments of God. Let every man abide in the same calling wherein he was called. Shalakia. Art thou called being a servant? Care not for it. But if thou mayest be made free, use it rather. For he that is called in the Lord being a servant is the Lord's freeman. Likewise also that is called being free is Christ's servant. Ye are bought with a price. Be not ye the servants of men. Brethren, let every man whereas he is called therein abide with God.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, somebody want to take over?
Yeah. You got it, brother Michael. Okay.
Verse 25. He say, now concerning virgin, I have no commandment of the Lord, Yet I give my judgment as one that have obtained mercy of the Lord to be faithful. I suppose, therefore, that this is good for the present distress. I say that it is good for a man so to be. Art thou bond unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife. But and if thy marriage thou have not sinned, and if a virgin marry, she have not sinned. Nevertheless, such all have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you.
Mm-hmm.
But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they have none, and they that weep as though they weep not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried cared for the things that belong to the Lord. Now he may please the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But he that is married cared for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife. There is difference also between the wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman cared for the things of the Lord, that she may be holy, both in body and in spirit. But she that is married cared for the things of the world, how she may please her husband. And this I speak for your own profit, not that it may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction. But if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely toward his virgin, if she pass the flower of her age, and need so require, let him do what he will. He sinneth not. Let them marry.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, steadfast in his heart, having no necessities, but have power over his own will, and have not decreed in his heart that he will keep his virgin, doeth well. So then, he that giveth her in marriage doeth well, but he that giveth her not in marriage doeth better. The wife is bound by the law as long as her husband liveth. But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will, only in the Lord. But she is happier if she abide after my judgment, and I think also I have the Spirit of God.
I have the Spirit of God. And so the whole thing Paul was saying, the whole matter, the matter was, right? The whole matter was that we do the work of the Lord. Right? And he was telling them that a man responsibility gonna be to his wife, and so that gonna take sometimes precedent over the Lord. So that's all that was saying going into. The reason why I said as he is, because he realized that his mission was to do the will of God. And so the whole conclusion of the matter is this, man. At the end of the day, man, the black man and the black woman got to get back under the ark of the Almighty, man, according to Psalms 91, so he can renew our strength, right? And so we have all these disagreements because a lot of us have issues that we have not resolved, right? And I'm not talking about, an issue with another or another man. So, sometimes that might be the case, where was in an abusive relationship and he did you some kind of way, and then you take it to your next relationship. And same thing with a man can happen the same way, or if a woman, didn't do right in the first relationship, and so you take it into another relationship. But I'm talking more on a matter of the way we was raised. Like if you have not have that proper conversation or etiquette with your biological father or your mother, then sometimes that can bring a strain in how you deal with the opposite sex, because you see them as a enemy instead of an ally, because you have that positive influences coming up as it pertains to a man, and vice versa. So a lot of times we have unresolved issues, and sometimes we just gotta take a long, deep hard look in ourselves and understand where we going wrong at so we can be better for one another, man. Y'all brothers got any last words of exhortation or talk about the videos or things you might agree with, disagree with? Hey man, the floor is y'all, man. Brother Michael.
While we were just going over the videos and just talking, I was, just gleaming through some more of that Willie Lynch letter, man.
Uh-huh.
And it talk about, the pulling apart of the man in front of the woman and how it gonna psychologically mess with her mind, man, and put it in a frozen state to the point that, that crafty counsel, that's all it was, cause this man said he gonna show you how to reverse nature.
Mm.
The nature of the man and the woman. I don't think you could do that to an animal, man. They raise them, till you raise your child different. Basically raising the female like the man like the female. So I was just gleaming from that, man, but
So do you think that the Woody Lynch letter was implemented? Like, 'cause I hear some people say, well, Willie Lynch wasn't the real plantation owner, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But do we see the effect of the Willie Lynch letter?
Huh.
Okay.
Hey, if I could, I just want to read that little paragraph.
Okay.
It's the Negro Marriage Unit. This is
Okay.
after, what they did to the man and put the man and the woman against each other. They said we breed two Negro males with two Negro females. Then we take the Negro males from them and keep them moving and working. Say the one nigga female bear nigga female and the other bears a nigga male. Both nigga females being without the influence of the nigga image, frozen with an independent psychology, will raise their offsprings into a reverse positions. The one with the female offspring will teach her to be like herself, independent and negotiable. Because we can't depend on the male because we just seen what happened to him. We negotiate with her through her, by her, and negotiate her at will. The one with the nigga male offspring, she been frozen with the subconscious fear for his life. We see that now. Our sisters fearing for they son's life, man. They say we'll raise him to be mentally dependent and weak, but physically strong. In other words, body over mind. Now, in a few years, when these two offspring become fertile for early reproduction, we will mate and breed them and continue the cycle. This is good sounding long range comprehensive planning. In other words, the man leaves, the woman teaches the daughter. That's why you can't depend on these Negroes. Depend on yourself. Don't depend on the man for nothing. And the cycle continue. I yield.
Kind, man. All praises, brother. Dion, what do you think, man? The videos, anything you seen, you glean from the video, the text. What thus says you two married in 2 years marriage, 2 years to marriage, man. You know you got some things to say about this thing, brother.
Well, y'all pray for me first of all, and second of all, uh, the Willie Lynch letters had a serious effect on our people. You got people today that they don't believe Israel is the chosen people unless they hear from a white person. They don't believe God is black until they hear from a white person. You got contractors. They don't trust what a contract. They don't trust what the diagnosis of your situation is unless it's a white person. They don't even trust their own people to tell you what's wrong with your situation. So that programming definitely has trickled down and has an effect uh, on our lives presently. So it definitely worked did what it was supposed to do, and it did a hell of a number on our people. So, yes, it worked. That part, that was a success, and that was real. And I yield.
Shalakia. Did we freeze up?
No, I hear you.
Oh, okay. All praise. I seen that first, in the first couple videos, man, it was, that initial point was the threat that feminism had. And the feminism brought a threat not only to the black man, but to the white man, to man, period, because this is women wanting to go to work and make money. And men understood that if these women start making money, then they would start losing their reverence or their respect for the man. He wouldn't have that same respect given to him. Even when we go to Genesis, when he told Adam you was gonna work from the sweat of thy brow to eat. Or I look at a lot of African tribes lately, a lot of African tribe documentaries, and Esau out there running around, just trying to spend a couple days with these jokers. And they have it where, when it's time to hunt, the woman does not go hunting with them. When it's time to hunt, only the men are going out for the hunting. The women are staying back with the children and prepping to get ready for whatever these men bring back home for us to eat. They're prepping that, making porridge and so forth, whatever little scraps they can pull up. And then the men come home and they may have, hunted a baboon or a buffalo or something. And they bring back the buffalo, and the women take care of the buffalo and get it prepped for cooking and so forth. And the same thing, imagine, but the same thing was happening in the 50s and 60s, where the man would go out, make the money, and then bring the groceries home. And in doing so, he had a certain reverence, a certain respect. He got the big piece of the chicken. But you're fighting feminism, and feminism is saying now women are saying, well, we can go get this money too. We need to go hunting too. We need to go hunting too. And so now both of you going hunting at the same time. Y'all done both put a spear in the buffalo. She don't have that reverence for you like that no more. And what it is we're trying to fight as men. We're trying to tell the woman, well, hey, you still need to respect me as the head and as the provider when she's providing too. She's not, and so really the dynamics of the Adam and Eve, because Adam was supposed to work from the sweat of his brow to bring that food in. And she had her curse also, which we read. Those dynamics are off, and once the dynamics get off, then it's dysfunction. It's dysfunction all the way out. It's already dysfunctional. So she's not going to have that, and this is why some countries don't allow their women to work. They don't allow their women to work. They don't allow their women to drive. And that's what feminism went directly against. And once, and this is why that was the biggest issue and the biggest problem with that. Now, we can say it, but it's different, man. It's different when you in a household and you expecting something from that other person. And they short. It's an argument, man. You know, you may have it to cover. As a man, you may have it to cover, but you into, you know, Joker sleeping on the couch. Joker don't even want to talk. And so we have another dynamic of marriage, and we have to accept that. You know, both of us gotta work. We in totally different roles. We not in biblical roles. We're not in biblical marriage. Because she going out doing the same thing you doing. And matter of fact, the black woman today, you know, a lot of statistics say she more educated. She making a little, she making a little more money. I don't know if she's making more money than black men, but they getting, you know, they getting up there. They getting up there. And so now they're, you can say that's one of the main causes of the masculinity is that, you know, I'm a boss now. Like, whether you, I got my own house, I'm paying for my own house, I'm paying for my own car, I got my own career, I got my own business, and you want me to reverence you when you you punching a 9 to 5, or you got the same thing that I have. And so really, that's a hard, you know, that's a hard, and that's a hard thing for sisters to swallow. And if you do find a sister that's swallowing that and doing that, then you got a double portion. All right, you got a bonus. Because it was not made for her to do that in the state that we're in this country. And one of the reasons women wanted to work because it wasn't enough. You know, and that's what that one brother was saying. Well, man, you know, why you just can't live the way I want you to live with my earnings? What, you know, why you want to look up to the middle class man and look up to these middle class white folks and you start yearning for that stuff? But, you know, because of certain shortages and inadequacies, women start, hey, man, let me just get a little part-time. I can just go clean up so-and-so house. And men back then was like, nah, I'm not letting my woman work. But now we in a situation where, nah, baby, you got to go to work.
You drop that, you
Take two income now, don't
yeah, good.
And we want the same reverence. We want the same respect. And, you know, we asking for a bit much, man. I think, you know, we have to just look at that. You know, we can't really point the finger. We just have to look at that we're not operating in that capacity. So, and, you know, even men feel a certain kind of way when they woman making more money than them. That didn't have to be taught to you. You feel a certain way when your woman, you know, some men don't want to get married to a woman until, you know, I got to have, he want to be in a provider situation. You know, but, you know, it's a lot of jokers, we'll just ride it out, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know, they'll feed off the woman or whatever, but, you know, we just had to deal with those realities. And I think that's why feminism was one of those main things earlier that they were talking about, because, and it didn't just affect them, you know, it affected white men also, and they weren't with it, and they still ain't with it. You know, because it affects all men, because we supposed to be in a certain role. And like I said, these other tribes, even these tribes, they're not gonna let these women go out hunting with them. No, you stay at the house. You stay at the house. You're not finna go out here and protect the sheep and the goats. You're not finna have your own herd of goats. We use the goats to, you know, they use the cows and the goats to pay a dowry for the wife. I'm not finna let you protect. You had your own herd. Now you don't even need no dowry no more. You just telling jokers, nah, I ain't going. Nah, we ain't finna do that. So we in a system that, you know, feminism has came in, and, you know, women are doing masculine jobs. They working. Even a woman working is masculine. Are you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And you make a good point, man. And I remember when you were talking about how men used to bring the food home, man. And me and brother Michael was talking today about that what was that movie
Dead President.
Dead President, yeah. When Cuddy came down from Lorenz Tate girl house, man. he came home with, you know, with two bags of grocery of a salami, man. And he said, "Yeah, boy, I feel good bringing the food home, no, the young boy." I remember I had to feel the same way. So it was, and I remember, man, because I grew up like in like a 2-parent household till my mom and dad got a divorce. But I remember my dad used to stress on respect. Like the brother was saying about the biggest piece of meat. Hey, I used to be up there. I used to be over there salty. Oh, can nobody eat till your dad eat? Man, I'm hungry, man. Hey, what you mean? Can nobody eat till he eat? But till I start getting out here and paying them bills, I understand. I understand now, man. And you don't understand until you play that role, bro. It's something about it, man. But I hope y'all glean something from the video, man. And like I say, man, we're not here to give opinions. We're here for solutions, man. We're here for only for solutions, man. So if you have not yet, man, like and subscribe to this channel. Do so at this time. Also, Brother Phoenix channel, Brother Prince of Power Israelite on Wednesdays at 7:30. We'll be over there as well. Hey, check the brother out. Powerful brother be coming out in the spirit. Yeah, don't forget, like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the content, man. If it's nothing else, brothers, man, hey, Shabbat Shalom, man. Y'all brothers be blessed out there, man, and we'll catch it out on Tuesday. Tuesday night at 7:30, we're gonna be on our conference line, most high willing. Tuesday night at 7:30. So until then, man, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shah, Barakatah. Shalom, family.
Shalom.
Shalom.